want to go to Ben Berquam. He's got Carolina Serrano, who's good enough to join us in Pima County the other day. She's a firebrand. I call her our AOC, running for Congress in Nevada. So, Ben, ask Carolina, what are the hardworking folks? And people understand in Vegas, you're not making top dollar in these jobs, but you're grinding. And people working overtime, both mother and father work, different shifts at the casinos, in the hospitality industry. You always got to be on your game. Very demanding, as those companies should be, very demanding. It's one of the top, that's why it's such a top place in the world. When they hear that illegal alien families are going to make $1 million, Carolina, what's the response among your constituency?
It's like the Biden administration spit in their face, Steve. I mean, I work at a restaurant. I have so many coworkers who came here legally, who are tax-paying citizens, and who are still waiting for their citizenship. And they actually love this country. And like you said, they sacrifice weekends, they sacrifice holidays, they work at night, away from their families, and they can't even afford a house. It's so expensive in Las Vegas. And so this is a slap in the face to every working middle-class American in Nevada. And Stephen Horsford, my opponent, he champions all these policies, and he'll sign up right there with the Biden administration to give $500,000 to illegals, 100%.
Tell me what you've learned as you've been down on the border now with Ben Berquam, the great investigative reporter for America's Voice. What are the 2 or 3 takeaways that you've seen now with your own eyes?
You know, Steve, it's really different when you see it. That's why I wanted to come see it. It's depressing. You know that the United States has taken the position of they're not going to do anything about it. There's National Guards who are down there. It's basically just for show. They help out the migrants get out of the rafts. And then when we saw a group of about 200 people, within an hour, they're processing them. They have a makeshift processing center to just release them into the interior of the country. The biggest enemies, I would say, the United Nations, the NGOs that are helping run this coordinated effort against the American people.
Carolina, how do people find out more about you, and how do they find out more about this campaign you're running in Nevada? By the way, if we're going to win 50, 60, 70, 80 seats, she's got to win. Okay, she's part of the
My
big
seat's
sweep.
in there.
It's a tough district. It's a tough district, but we got to win it. How do people find out more about you?
It's winnable, Steve. CarolinaForCongress.com is where you can donate. I'm Carolina4NV on Twitter, Getter, TikTok, Instagram, and it's Carolina #4NV for Nevada. And thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, and thanks you for being in Pima County the other night. It was a great showing. Ben, the Admiral, Veterans for Trump. Why are they down there, and why are we talking about the wall when Biden's got no interest in building a wall? What's the purpose?
Well, real quick before I go back to Admiral Kubik, you made a comment that you had to stop building, and what's insane to me, Steve, we're talking about giving $1 million to illegal aliens that came over here. We were paying contractors $1 million a day. Is that correct?
They haven't paid.
Oh, they haven't paid. They haven't paid. Tell us about that real quick.
What you have is 4 principal contractors doing it, and when this shutdown happened, they told us to leave everything in place, keep the workforce, and so it's estimated that between $5 to $6 million spread over 4 contractors was the cost per day to sit there and do nothing. And now, of course, it's time to settle up, and everybody's having trouble getting paid.
Right. So this is what we're seeing. We've got pie in the sky. Democrats talking about this, and really the reason you guys had this event was to bring. We've got congressional candidates from all over the country, from Florida, from California, from Nevada, from Arkansas, coming down here and doing what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won't do with Veterans for America First, is seeing what's actually happening here, so that they can go back to their constituents and say, this is what's really happening, and every single American citizen, whether you live on the border or not, needs to be outraged. Anything else?
Yeah, and Steve, what we're doing is Veterans for America First. We're here in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in the Border Patrol,
Amen.
who are now also, after years of service, they're now being told that they're going to be laid off, fired if they don't take the shot. And so we're here. Several months ago, we basically came and actually provided a hot lunch to 800 Border Patrol just to show our support for them. This time they told us that they're not allowed to take a lunch. So we're here to basically form, we'll go to a section of the wall that's incomplete. We're going to form a human chain to basically say if Biden won't protect our country, veterans will rally, and we'll stand with the green line to hold that green line with the Border Patrol.
By the way, I want to make sure everybody knows that Admiral Kubik was with us from the very beginning. He was back in 16 and is a real warrior. I was so glad some of the Navy senior flag officers were standing up. That Flynn and General Kellogg were I was kind of embarrassed the Army was stepping up there, and then we had Admiral Kubik and others, Veterans for America First. Admiral, you're a good man. You've been with us for the beginning, and I got to tell you, I think it's so important what you're doing down there, not just to make sure that congressional candidates like Carolina Serrano up in Nevada are getting a full understanding of what's going on about the wall. But I think it's amazing and tremendous that you're standing shoulder to shoulder with the Border Patrol. There's no braver people in this country, and no bigger group that's abused by the Biden administration. I mean, basically doxxed by people on the left to terrorize their families to make sure they can't go to work. And now this new thing with the vaccine. So Ben, tell us, before I let you go, I know you've got your guys moving around Mexico because of whether it's going to be Yuma, Arizona, or El Paso, but give us an update on where the caravan stands and what should people anticipate over the next couple of days or weeks.
Well, first off, we were in Roma, Texas, about an hour and a half from where we're at right now, an hour and 15 minutes from where we're at right now last night. And as soon as we got there were over 200 people that had just crossed. This is a continuous flow, a continuous invasion. We have to be really clear about that. We'll talk more about that later, why it's so important that everyone use that term. It's an invasion of our country. It is continuous. So we're watching the caravan come up. Oscar Blue is down there reporting there. We've got Auden in Del Rio reporting as well, and Acuna. We're going to be heading to Yuma later this week, or next week, excuse me, and following it, we'll be back in Tijuana. We're going everywhere because this is happening everywhere. The cartels control it, and Joe Biden and the Democrats are funding the cartels.
Yeah, at one point, Steve, this is not just a push operation or this invasion. It's a push-pull.
That's right.
So they're pushing them across, and then the NGOs and the nonprofits are pulling them. And the question is, who's funding it? Where's the money coming from? And who are the middlemen that are raking money off the top? And we need to press on that. Where is the money coming from? We know that $850 million came from the Homeland Security budget. They say they have $1.7 billion. Where did the other $850 million come? I'm wondering if they pulled it out of our contracts without even telling us at this point, because somebody is funding this and pulling them. Without the pull, there would be no place for those that are pushed to go. So we got to look at this as an invasion on both sides, where we have people aiding and abetting this invasion and pulling these people across.
Absolutely.
Admiral, thank you so much. Carolina, thank you so much. Everybody go to her site right now, find everything about her. She's our AOC. She's from the hospitality industry. Basically, as she said,
Much
she's
better.
been a waitress for many years. She's a fire breather. Yeah, she's our AOC, a total fire breather. I mean, she's a fighter, and we need fighters. We don't need wimps. Kinziger's retired. We got that done. Now we need to replace it with people like Carolina. That's what Congress has got to be. Fighters. Got enough lawyers. We need fighters. Ben Berquam, real quickly, give the social media. How do people track you nonstop with all your reporting?
Real America's Voice News, the work that we're doing there, nobody else is doing it. You can get us at americasvoice.news, and then all of my social media is Ben Berquam or frontlineamerica.com.
Thank you, guys. Great report down there. Good luck today. Admiral Kubik, Carolina Serrano, and Ben Berquam down on the border to thwart this invasion.